a beautiful snowy day here in Billings, Montana. Just a light sprinkling. There's Nigel barking at somebody. Good morning, all. Coming at you again from the rims for another edition of CZA Cast. Still getting used to this whole video thing, but I'll give it a shot. Kind of what I wanted to try and share with you all today was just kind of explaining, what the hell I do. What the hell is a CZA and what all that means. I mean, it's all on the website. You can read about it if you want, but sometimes people like to hear about it. So anyway, to be as concise as possible about it, if you take a file of content, doesn't really matter the format, I guess, but a file, and in that file, you've got a digital representation of a complex set of content, whether it be a Adobe file or an audio file or a video file or whatever. But the easiest one to work with or think about, I think, is if you're just talking about a book. And usually books are represented digitally in terms of, say, a PDF file. So easy to think about it in that way to start out. So you've got your basic file, and within that file, you've got, your complete set of content. Could be complex, could be nothing more than a short story or whatever. But either way, it's a set of content that consists of, a bunch of ideas, maybe different types of page structures or however it's broken down. And you want to share that with the world. Well, with the advent of writing and the book, distribution of ideas and material has always been a challenge. Technology and the internet obviously made that easier, but you were still limited by not just in how you shared it, how you could share the material, but how the user experienced the material. And if you want to share your file or your content, in a file format or something, you usually can do it in some kind of web viewer or, ebook, or you can send the link out over social media and, people can view it. But either way, it's as far as I can tell, nothing's ever been different. It's in a single user experience. The user can click on the link and go to the e-file or bring it up in the e-reader or whatever program it uses, and they can view it and they can read it and they can digest it, experience it. But they're doing it in, by themselves, And if they want to interact with other people while they do it, or through the content, with the content, unless you're sitting next to the computer with them or, doing like a teleconference, something like that. But either way, the programs that I've seen out there or the methods, it's just not, it doesn't get you all the way there. I mean, if your goal is to share content with the widest audience possible in the most transparent format, it can't be, corrupted or, mismanaged, misused, misinformed, whatever, it just doesn't exist, and that was kind of the starting point of, the journey that I went on figuring this out, and anyway, so that was kind of the problem. And I still didn't think until I started working on this that the problem had been, I mean, there was nothing that I could find out there. You had your traditional publishing methods, and unless you owned your own program or whatever, but again, the experience for the user is still by themselves, or it's not broadcast. It's not broadcast to a global audience, to the widest audience possible. It's not available to everybody. A lot of times you have to subscribe to things, pay for things. I wanted this to be open to everybody. I wanted it to be public, and not all information can be public, but there's a lot of information out there that is public and should be public, and I wanted to create an experience for them that provided that. And I think of it in terms of business products and services, through this idea, to create a more free and informed world. So there you have it. Not a very good salesman, but it's the best I got. So anyway, you start out with whatever file content you got, and all the ideas and such are kind of stuck within that single file organization. And I want to bring them out. I want to free those ideas. I want to get them out in the open so people can see them and experience them. And sometimes the content isn't very enjoyable, so it's hard to attract people that may not know about it or be interested in it to really understand or want to look at it, even though it's something that they really need to or should look at it, whether it's US code or some other intense subject matter. But anyway, so what I do, I take the file and I break it up into individual pieces of content that are made up of those it's basically the existing single file, but then I take that content and I break it up into its individual pieces. I write about it, being like calculus, how they came upon, thinking about and discovering calculus, and so you could think of it that way, but either way, so you take a single file, and that consists of, say, 100 pages of page, content broken down by pages. I'm going to take each page and create its own file. So so now I've got 100 individual files of for each page of that book, or whatever you have. And and then I'm gonna take each one of those PDFs, those 100 PDFs, and I'm gonna turn them into a file format that I can share over social media or whatever other platform you're using to share it through. And I'm going to turn those into a photo, PNG, because that's the most universally accepted file format that you can share. But it could be an audio file, it could be a video file. It doesn't matter. The uniqueness of the process is that it can be applied in multiple ways over different platforms. It doesn't, so it can be replicated. And anyway, so from there, I'm gonna create my page, but the page isn't represented by necessarily a person. The book is the page. The page represents the actual content itself, and then the page is created, and I have to upload each one of those content files from back to front, so it'll display correctly, through the platform. And what you end up with, the end result is well, that's what you see, and that's what I'm I'm providing for you. And the end result is what I would consider a very unique product, and I really enjoy creating them and going through the work of producing them and sharing them with everybody. And I think I think it has the potential to make an impact on the world, for the better. So I hope that's the case, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.